tulips, windmills, bicycles, and the color orange. These are things that most of us associate with the Netherlands. But have you ever wondered how the Netherlands even works? The truth is, there's so much more to the Netherlands than meets the eye. From its violent war for independence to the modern era, the Dutch people have been at the center of some of Europe's most gripping historical events. Join me as I delve into the history, politics, and economics of the Netherlands and give you a quick rundown of how the country works from top to bottom. My name's Marco, you're watching How Countries Work. Let's get to it. The Netherlands is located in Western Europe in an area known as the Low Countries, which also includes Belgium and Luxembourg. It is bordered by the North Sea to the north and west, Belgium to the south, and Germany to the east. Its geographic position is defined by its extensive coastline and numerous rivers, including the Rhine, Meuse, and Scheldt. After the fall of the Western Roman Empire in the 5th century, the area fell under the control of the Kingdom of the Franks. Around this period in the Middle Ages, the people living in the Low Countries became proficient at trading due to the many rivers and access to the sea. Ghent, Bruges, and Antwerp are all urban cities that flourished from these trading networks, but this also made them targets for Viking raids descending from Norway and Denmark. Over the centuries, the empire of the Franks weakened, and the region of the Low Countries witnessed a fragmentation of power. Various feudal lords, local nobles, and city-states emerged, leading to a decentralized political landscape. The Kingdom of Holland in particular, through its advantageous trading position, was able to exert significant influence on the rest of Europe. Over the 14th and 15th centuries, through marriage alliances, military conquests, and political maneuvering, the Low Countries came under control of first the French Dukes of Burgundy, and then with more marriages and more political maneuvering, such as the story of Europe, by the almighty Habsburg dynasty within the Spanish Empire. By the middle of the 16th century, the Low Countries were firmly in the hands of the Spanish. Now, it's time to introduce religion into the story. It's in the 16th century that the Protestant Reformation took place, where Europe saw a division between regions that remained predominantly Catholic and those that embraced Protestantism. The Low Countries, the northern regions in particular, saw a large rise in Protestantism. This was opposed to the staunch Spanish Catholic rule. The religious differences, Catholic ruler's brutal oppression of Protestants, and a growing national identity led to the Dutch Revolt. The northern provinces, headed by William of Orange from the House of Orange-Nassau, declared themselves independent, founding the Dutch Republic, and started a bloody 80-year war against the Habsburg family, headed by King Philip II, for control of the country. In 1648, the Treaty of Münster confirmed the independence of the northern regions, modern-day Netherlands, while Spain retained control over the more predominantly Catholic regions, modern-day Belgium and Luxembourg. The 17th century ushered in a golden age for Dutch power in Europe and across the globe. The Dutch became masters of water and trade, establishing colonies in Indonesia, South Africa, the coast of West Africa, and Suriname in South America. Their colonies allowed them to profit from valuable resources in these nations such as tea, textiles, and sugar. Spices in particular became a critical asset for the growth of the Netherlands' overseas empire. The Dutch East India Company, interestingly the world's first multinational corporation, and maybe the most powerful company in history, even had their own army, controlled the spice trade from Asia. From their control of the sea trade, the Dutch Republic became an economic, military, and political powerhouse in Europe. Dutch power did see a gradual decline, and the nation was taken over and controlled by France during the French Revolution and Napoleonic Wars. However, after the wars, a noble called William Frederick, from the House of Orange-Nassau and a descendant of the same William of Orange, was named king of the newly formed United Kingdom of the Netherlands, which included the all-Catholic Spanish Habsburg lands of Belgium and Luxembourg. However, this new kingdom did not last long. The religious and cultural differences between the Protestant Dutch and the newer Catholic regions was too much, however, and the people of Belgium gained their independence during the Belgian Revolution of 1830. This formed the entity as we largely know it today, the Kingdom of the Netherlands. By the advent of the 20th century, Dutch power on the world stage had greatly diminished. Though it remained neutral during the First World War, the Netherlands was quickly defeated by the Nazi war machine during the early phases of World War II. With the defeat of Nazism in 1945, the Netherlands was freed from German occupation. In 1952, it became one of the founding members of the European Coal and Steel Community, the proto-version of the European Union. Today, with a population of 17.53 million people, it is the 10th most populous country in Europe. And although it has nowhere near the power it had during the Dutch Golden Age, the country's legacy has left an enormous impact on the global politics, trade, and culture of the world. Though it operated as a republic during its glory days of power, today, the Netherlands is a unitary parliamentary constitutional monarchy. The constitution was drafted in 1814 after the liberation of the country from French rule. The constitution establishes the fundamental principles and framework for the organization and functioning of the Dutch government and society. As a unitary government, supreme power rests with the national government, which is not located in the capital Amsterdam, but in The Hague, with powers granted to 12 separate administrative regions over more local issues such as transportation and the police. Like most political systems, the power of the government can be defined between the legislative, responsible for making laws, the executive, responsible for implementing laws and the day-to-day management of the government, and the judiciary, responsible for interpreting and settling disputes within the law. On the legislative side, the States-General, or Staten-Generaal of the Netherlands, is the bicameral or two-chamber legislature composed of the House of Representatives and the Senate. The States-General role is to pass laws, approve budgets, and scrutinize the executive government through committees. The House of Representatives, also known as the Second Chamber or Tweede Kamer, is directly elected by Dutch citizens to represent their interest in the lower house. There are 150 seats in total, and elections take place every 4 years. The Senate, known as the First Chamber, or the Eerste Kamer, with 75 seats, is elected by and represents the interest of the 12 provinces of the Netherlands as a whole. While the Senate is designed to act as a scrutinizing force over the government, it can only accept or reject legislation and can never amend or initiate proposals. In essence, the House of Representatives plays a much more significant role in shaping the political landscape of the Netherlands. On the executive side, the House of Orange-Nassau serves as the hereditary monarchs of the Netherlands. The current king, Willem-Alexander, is the official head of state, though his role is mainly ceremonial and he must act on the advice of the Prime Minister, the head of government. He acts as a representative of the Dutch people on the world stage, officially appoints the Prime Minister, and signs all laws passed through the Parliament. Being a parliamentary system, the executive government and the head of government come from within the legislature, specifically the House of Representatives. Whichever party or coalition of parties can form a majority within the second chamber after an election every 4 years wins the election and enters into government. It is worth noting that the Netherlands uses proportional representation, which ensures that the number of seats a party receives in the House of Representatives is aligned with the percentage of votes it received in an election. This means there is a very even distribution of seats in the States-General between political parties. For example, 2021 Dutch election resulted in a staggering 20 political parties making it into the parliament. As a result, parties making compromises and coming together to form coalition governments are the norm in the Netherlands. In fact, a majority government has never happened in the nation's history. This is unlike the UK, where their first-past-the-post voting system means that only a few parties make it into the parliament, and majority governments from one party are the norm. The Prime Minister, the head of government, is the leader of the largest political party that can form a majority in the second chamber. They head the Council of Ministers, or Ministerraad, the Dutch cabinet and the main body of the executive branch composed of the Prime Minister and the most senior federal ministers who are responsible for various government departments that run the country, such as the economy, defense, and foreign affairs. And finally, the judicial branch in the Netherlands is an essential component of the government, responsible for upholding the rule of law, interpreting laws, and settling legal disputes. The Dutch legal system is not that different from other legal systems in Europe, as there are multiple levels of courts that settle criminal, civil, administrative, and constitutional cases. What is important to remember is that the legal system in the Netherlands is widely considered free and independent. The Dutch legal system operates on the principles of the rule of law and a separation of powers, which ensures the independence of the judiciary from political influence. On the economic front, the Netherlands has a diverse and highly developed economy, characterized by a mix of modern industries and traditional sectors. The country has steady natural gas resources and currently accounts for more than 25% of all natural gas reserves in the European Union. They are also one of the world's largest exporters of agricultural products, particularly known for horticulture, flower cultivation, especially tulips, and dairy farming. Due to its strategic location and well-developed port infrastructure, the Netherlands is also a significant player in global trade and logistics. Rotterdam, one of the world's largest ports, facilitates the movements of goods between Europe and the rest of the world. The country also has major industries in manufacturing, financial services, and technology and innovation. The Dutch government plays an active role in the economy through various policies and reforms. The country has a market-oriented economy with a focus on fostering a conducive business environment and promoting innovation. The government supports entrepreneurship and invests in research and development to enhance the country's competitiveness on the world stage. As of 2023, its GDP stands at $1.29 trillion US, ranking 28th on the world stage, behind countries such as Mexico, Russia, and Spain. Due to its smaller population, it does lag behind the European economic powerhouses France and Germany, but its GDP per capita, at almost 73,000, is one of the highest in the world. While it must still contend with the challenges that other developing countries must face, such as an aging population, labour market reforms, cultural fragmentation from responses to immigration, and the need to adapt to digitalization and automation, as it stands, its citizens enjoy some of the best living conditions on the planet. And that's that. That was everything you needed to know about the Netherlands, summed up. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, and if you'd like to learn more about how countries work, subscribe to my channel for more content in the future. Thanks, and I'll catch you next time.